Hi, we are the Adult Literacy and Numeracy team from Youth, Family and Community Learning.
And if you haven't heard about us, this is what we do.
Adult learning is lifelong learning.
Whenever you need to boost your reading, writing, number, or ICT skills,
For new goals in your life, we can support you.
It's not just about being rubbish at spelling and wanting to improve it.
it's about so much more.
It's about helping you to become the best that you can be.
So who are our adult learners?
This is what they've been learning
In our free classes.
They've been working towards SQE qualifications and core skills.
They've been improving their writing, spelling, grammar and punctuation.
They've been gaining new employability skills.
They've been exploring creative writing, book reviews, analytical thinking and political literacy.
They've also been getting confident with all things digital, whether it's using the latest devices, getting online,
or finding the way around programs like Microsoft Word.
It's also about being more confident with money and budgeting, learning about health and well-being,
and finding strategies to help with learning difficulties like dyslexia.
and finally gaining the confidence to be able to use these skills in everyday life situations.
So if you think your life could be improved by getting a better handle on words, numbers, or IT skills, drop us an email
At slcboost@glow.sch.uk
or give us a call on 01698 452154. We'll see you soon.
World Book Night is the annual celebration of books and reading
that brings people from all backgrounds together for one reason:
to inspire others to read more. This year's celebration of all things book-related takes
place on Friday, the 23rd of April,
with the theme Books to Make You Smile.
Tonight we have combined the creative writing of our adult learners with the performance of Vertigo Youth Theatre.
Vertigo Theatre for Youth are a group based at East Kilbride's Universal Connections
and supported by South Lanarkshire's Youth, Family and Community Learning Service.
All of the selected pieces performed by Vertigo were written by the creative writing class
that takes place on the Zoom platform on a Wednesday evening.
The group has been meeting weekly now since September 2020
and have created a large body of work, some of which is being performed tonight.
We're always on the lookout for new members, so if you're passionate about reading
and want to try your hand at writing for yourself, contact us via Facebook
or email, which is slcboost@glow.sch.uk,
or call John on 07385 403 088. Please enjoy all of the performance pieces and be sure to get back to us with your feedback or if you're interested further in any of our classes.
I was pleased and very surprised that my work is going to be performed at the World Book Night.
Yeah, it's really exciting and flattering that people want to perform a reading or writing. We're really looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure it'll be great.
I'm pleased that my work's going to be performed by the Youth Theatre group, and I'm glad that other people will get to hear it.
Where has the time gone, oh my little one? The days have passed in a blur of play. We've watched you grow, our little son, into the handsome boy you are today. You used to sleep so cosy in our arms, with an endless supply of hugs. What bliss! Knowing that you were loved and safe from harm. You fit our arms perfectly and we make sure nothing is amiss. You have your own personality now. Your antics do make us laugh, clap and cheer. Your constant babbling brings so much joy to all those who come near. I know the next stage of your life will be so exciting, but to keep you now, just as you are, is so very inviting.
Harry Potter, except he's a wee Scottish Ned fi Glasgow, by Katrina McCange, based on the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. Scene 1, a phone conversation between Harry and Ron.
Alright, Ron. Alright, Harry, how's it going?
Oh, I can't complain. My uncle tried to get me to sleep under these stairs again. I wasn't having that, so I soon sorted him out.
Good on you. What did you do?
I gave him a Glasgow kiss and knew the big numpty's too scared to come near me.
Go on yourself, Harry. That's good to hear.
Aye, I'll get nae more lip for him.
Belter. Well, I already squared it with my folks for you to come to us for the summer holidays.
Oh, sound mate, your ma's class.
Scene 2. Harry and Ron are in Gryffindor Tower's common room.
So, what have you got planned for that wee man we can't talk about?
Och, I dinna ken. I'll figure something out. He's a wee bam though. We defos need to teach him a lesson.
Aye, that's right. Give him what's for.
Aye, that's right. He thinks he's all that, but he looks like a tit in a trance. And those red eyes. He just looks like he's trying to cover up a bad hangover. He can't get away with thinking that he can turn all us magic folk into Death Eaters and that no one will stop him. I'm going to smash him next time I clap eyes on him.
Stoating.
Oh, my lovely, funny, cute little boy. It's such a mystery to me how you came to bring so much joy to everyone you see. You brighten up our day with your cheeky smile. We love to watch you play. Won't you stay a while? There is endless fun to be had on the hairy rug, playing with beakers and Noah's Ark. You're always looking for Granny to give you a hug or take you for a walk in the park. You are such a pleasure to have around. Oh, handsome boy, with your constant up, down, up, down.
It was around 8 p.m. on a warm and breezy summer's evening. The sun was just setting. I decided to go for a walk in my local park. I sat in the grass in the shade of a tree and observed what was around me. The sky was now a golden yellowy colour, with hints of dark blue and grey. It looked as though the sky had been recently ablaze, and the fire was now dying in the approaching dusk. All around me, the unusually, strikingly green grass paled in comparison to the brightness of the sky. I sighed as I sat back, basking in the remaining warmth of the sun, for this day had been one of the hottest of the year. I looked around me at the various people who had only just now ventured out, leaving behind their cool, air-conditioned houses. There were a few people walking with dogs, some pushing prams, some elderly couples walking arm in arm, enjoying the freshness of the evening brought after the stickiness of the day. My eyes focused on a young boy. He looked to be around 15 or 16. He was sitting under a tree not far from my own, reading a book. He was so engrossed in it, he hadn't even bothered to glance at the beautiful sunset. He had short brown hair and lots of freckles. All at once he looked up, as if he had sensed me staring at him. He smiled at me, a warm smile that reached his eyes, making his whole face light up. What was unusual about him was the long, thin scar running from the top of his cheek to the top of his lip, marking his face, his beautiful face.
She pulled her hood over her head so far the torn edge scratched her brow. Taking unsteady, heavy steps, she left the safety of the woods and stepped wearily onto the deserted mountain road that would take her to Dice Springs. Adrenaline knocked the exhaustion out of her as she heard the faint dim of an engine behind her. Her heart raced. Her clambering steps became strides as she gripped the tool under her jumper tightly, readying herself. Louder now. Yellow beams created waves on the wet roads ahead and then faded as the car passed her and drove into obscurity. She almost lost grip on the hatchet as she tucked it into her jeans, drying her sweaty palms on her jumper. She was headed for the gas station at the edge of the tiny town, in desperate need of food and water, and could get them there if the station attendant didn't see her slink in and out. If she was seen, she could take care of it, but she'd rather not have to. Thoughts of the past few days flooded her head. The blood, how it soaked through everything. The freezing river that threatened to suffocate her, his twisted face. A sadistic look burned into her memory. The boy. He could only have been 6 or 7. Stopping abruptly, she bent over and vomited a putrid soup of bile, stomach acid, and blood.
Scott's version of Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day by William Shakespeare. Shall I make you out to be the opposite of grey? You were aye smashing and aye ways on song. Though it's mair often pishing down in May, while the sun never really hangs out long. There's times when it can be roasting hot, but mair often it's never really like that. And though clouds are about a hell of a lot, that's just your life, and then we get fat. You'll never end up ever getting fair old, as you'll never have taken on life's brunt. And even when your horns start to get cold, will I always mind you as they answer. So as long as your fizzer breathes fire and seas, your pus will reek lang and clear through thee and me.
Valoria. Jem lay awake wishing that sleep would surprise her, and that the dreams she had been having recently would no longer make their nightly appearance. In the gloom, she could just about make out the drawn curtains and the night beyond. It would be a while yet before the morning made an appearance, and for now Jem was just glad that there was silence, and that all seemed to be well. She had always been a happy child, always thoughtful, always curious, always eager to be positive, and never one to worry about things. However, lately, a change had begun to come over her, and she wasn't sure why. She had friends, she was popular at school, she adored her family, especially Emma, her baby sister. But there was a feeling, a darkness that had crept up on her which saved itself for night and the sleeping time. It had started about a month previously, and to begin with, the dreams were mostly unremembered. Waking in the morning, sometimes clammy with sweat, Jem hadn't been too aware of the content of the dreams, but knew that they had unsettled her and left a vague sense of foreboding. However, things then began to change, and the dreams were no longer vague but at the forefront of her sleeping mind. When she dreamt, they no longer felt like dreams, but instead felt she was looking through the prism of a secret camera, a one-way camera that could look out but which couldn't be accessed the other way. What she was looking upon was a world unfamiliar and alien to her, not just in appearance, but most surprisingly in taste and smell and touch. And that was what was the scariest thing of all to Jem. If she was dreaming, why were her senses so engaged in this dream world? How was it possible that she felt the presence of this other world? And then, everything changed. It was no longer a dream.
Scott's version of Scene from Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, when Pip first encounters Magwitch. It was a crisp November evening when wee Peter left his pal's house in Castlemilk and cut through Cathkin Braes to get home. His sister would be shouting him in any minute. He was supposed to go home when the streetlights came on, and he was late. Scene 1. So, Peter's running through the Braes and he nearly runs into this huge guy. The guy is wearing grey joggy bottoms, a grey jumper, no jacket, even though it's freezing, and he looks bogging. Peter thinks that this guy must be homeless, but Peter has never seen a homeless person in Cathkin Braes before, so he thinks it's weird. He goes to walk round this big guy, and the guy says,
"Keep your mouth shut, or I'll do you in."
Peter just about dies with fear.
Fuck! Please don't do me in, mister. I'm just walking home. I'm minding my own business.
The big guy grunts at him.
"What's your name?"
"Peter, mister."
"And where do you live?"
Peter points, and they both look into the darkness.
Well, there's nae use pointing in pitch black. What's your address?
Before he can control himself and make up an address, Peter shouts.
22F Busby Road, mister.
Aye, right. There's nae need to shout. You got anything to eat on you?
No, sorry.
The man looks raging now, and Peter's terrified. His eyes dart about the place frantically.
Please, just let me go home. My sister will be out looking for me. I think I can hear the now.
The big guy just stares right through Peter.
Aye. You can go home. And bring me back some food and something to drink. Remember, I know where you live. If you're no back in 10 minutes, I'll hunt you down and chib you.
The man has a barbaric look on his face, and he spits the words with ferocity. Peter pees himself. So Peter runs home, in the front door, through the living room and into the kitchen. His sister shouts after him, "Were you born in a park or something? Can you no shut a door?" But Peter barely notices her. He throws open the cupboard doors, grabs a tin of beans, a tin of chopped tomatoes, and a can of ginger. He runs back out the house again, his sister shouting after him. He runs across the main road without looking, down the lane and into the park, when he just about knocks into a huge guy. But this is a different huge guy. This is a police guy.
And where are you off to in such a hurry?
No, just the park.
Peter says quietly, avoiding eye contact.
We're closing the park. We're looking for a man. He's about my height. He's wearing grey joggy bottoms and a grey jumper, we think. Have you seen him?
How come you're looking for him?
He's absconded from Berlin. He's dangerous. So if you see him, don't speak to him. All right?
To you, I was born here among the lush green fields, living out my days under the vibrant blue sky and the warmth of the straw in the barn at night, only the pesky flies buzzing at me, my only complaint. So I share my milk in return for your kindness. That's what the slaughterers make it out to be. Wrong. I was there, and I remember. Let me take you back to the harsh reality. I opened my newborn eyes to see a blurred vision of my mother's face, her weary brown eyes staring back at me. Still coated in white discharge, my shaky legs wobble on the uneven ground as I take my first step towards her. She nuzzles my forehead, comforting me. Though that memory is broken momentarily as a shout startles me and broad arms wrap around my neck, separating my mother and I. A sharp pain makes my ears sting. Number 28, something, calls out to one another. My mother's voice shouts, "Escape, escape," from those slaughterers. Her frightened, desperate screeches fade as I am thrown into an enclosed pen. I quickly huddle around the scared cries of the other female calves, staying quiet as fear comes over me. That night I barely get any sleep, and the darkness of the pen was swallowed up by the sound of whimpering calves and the drip of rain seeping through the roof. Even with the thin layer of straw and the strange taste of milk in the bucket, none of us felt safe, and no one dared to speak to one another. For weeks after the sudden events, I came to the sad realization that I would never see my mother again. After 6 months of being kept in that pen, a group of the slaughterers came in shouting and prodding me with those long sticks. My hooves clanked off the rough flooring as I was forced to walk a distance to another barn. I was crammed into a confined tiny space which blocked my vision with a wall. The smell of foul feces filled my nostrils. I had no idea what horrifying things would occur next as they stood behind me. I shrieked out from excruciating pain as the slaughterer forcibly impregnated me by artificial insemination. Not even a moment to catch my breath, I was removed and heading back as if nothing ever happened. I carried my calf for 9 unsettling months, hoping that my baby would have a better start than I did. He didn't. My baby boy was taken off me moments after its birth. I kicked my legs and flared my snout to try and save him from the grasp of those two-legged kind, but they were too strong. My baby was now their caching opportunity and cheap beef, as they put it. with my mind unable to comprehend why they are like this. What did I do wrong? I just let them lead me into a place filled with metallic sounds of ongoing loud machinery that pumped my milk out of me. That was my life, over and over again. The repetition of insemination, birthing, and being milked. With each calf that got taken away, it filled me with a never-ending root of sorrow. My body became weak. My udders felt swollen and sore. Add 28 to the list for the slaughterhouse. We have no use for it any further, the slaughterer grunted. Whatever that meant, I just wanted to give up the fight as my heart beat slower, little, less, nothing.
The darkness enveloped her as she stood there, waiting. The light from the streetlight shimmered in the gloom. It wasn't so much a light that illuminated those in its presence, but rather a halo that held a moment in time. Calla waited, though, neither noticing nor caring about the darkness. She had instructed him to meet her here at 9 p.m, and though it was now 9:30, she was determined not to move till he had arrived. The coldness of the air made no difference to her, as she was well wrapped up, and the heavy tweed overcoat, though a tad too big for her, allowed for extra layers underneath her to compensate for the lack of aesthetic grace. She cared not for the garments that adorned her, but only what service she could provide to him. Tonight was important for both of them, and however long it took, she would remain till she met with him, probably for the last time. The first time Calla viewed Sean was when he passed her station quickly on his way to the director's office on the second floor. He was taller and thinner than she thought he would be, and had an old-looking demeanour and stature, though she was aware that he was only in his early 30s. That Monday morning in the typing pool, Calla could finally see what all the fuss was about. However, it was another week before he spoke with her. She had a raft of documents needing signed by the director, and knew that Sean's weekly meeting with him was due to take place that morning. He arrived, as predicted, and was making his way past Calla, when the documents she needed signed by the director accidentally fell from her desk. Sean and Calla both bent at the same time to retrieve the documents, and at that moment the connection was made. From then on, Calla belonged to Sean and her to him. The next few weeks were spent in a flurry of restaurant dates, long walks in the park, and afternoon tea at Braithwaite's. The whirlwind nature of their relationship astounded him, and led him to believe that he had met his soulmate, and settled down to a life of contentment and suburban bliss. It was the first week in October, though, when Calla finally revealed her intentions to Sean, none of which involved the contentment and bliss that he craved.
Zeus and Prometheus are at the top of Mount Olympus on a boiling hot day. Prometheus is lying sleeping in the sun. He has removed the top half of his toga, taps off, to get some sun. A few empties lie scattered around him. Zeus is restlessly pacing the mountaintop.
Prometheus, wake up. Wake up!
Prometheus opens his eyes widely.
What is it? I was having a crackery dream about our Phoebe.
I'm pure scunnered. It's too hot to do anything today. I'm sick to the back teeth of playing with these lightning bolts. I want some fun. Being a god shouldn't be this dull.
All right. Do you want me to send Epimetheus down to get us another carryout? Couple of tuna pieces as well. I'm a bit hungry.
No. Something really fun. You're good with your horns, aren't you? I want you to make me people fae the clay. Wee folk to worship me.
Prometheus sits upright, looking confused.
What are you talking about?
I want you to make wee folk that walk about, worship the ground I walk on. Folk that will kiss my feet. Folk that will pray to me every day. But not like us. Folk that can live and die.
Prometheus shakes his head in disbelief.
In the name of the wee man.
Exactly. Come on down the burn. There's good clay there.
Zeus and Prometheus donnered into the burn, and Prometheus gets to work shaping the clay. He thinks the idea's a load of shite, but he knows how gallus Zeus reacts when he doesn't get his own way.
Are you going to gaze peace? I can't work with you looking over my shoulder every 5 minutes. Just gaze some of your spit in that tub so they can come to life.
Aye, all right, Prometheus. I'll be back in an hour.
Zeus hands Prometheus the spit-filled tub and leaves, returning an hour later.
Well, that was some walk. I got chased by a wild boar and killed it with my bare hands.
Did you, aye?
Zeus looks down and sees 1,000 tiny people walking below, adults and wains in amazing detail. They're so wee in comparison to him that he stands on 3 and kills them outright by accident.
Zeus!
Oh, sorry, didn't see him there.
So, what do you think?
Aye, they're no half bad. I like it.
Zeus and Prometheus play with the tiny mortals for 10 minutes. Zeus gets bored and wants to go and see what Poseidon's up to. Prometheus decides to stay.
Whatever you do, don't give him fire.
How?
Just don't. That's how.
I really enjoy reading because I can lose myself in the story and imagine what's going on.
I enjoy reading because it allows me to escape from reality. So if I've had a bad day or if I just want to relax, reading a good book allows me to have time to relax and puts me in a good mood.
Reading helps me feel calmer when life is a bit more chaotic.
We're now ending the recording.